check the weather over here in the southeast. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to bring my bikini. It looks like summer over there. It hasn't felt like that for the last few weeks, right? Yeah, you know, people have travelled far and wide to be here at SpeakFest, and we really, really appreciate the journey that everyone has made and everyone has taken to step into shoes that are not easy. It's not easy standing and remembering a talk. It's not easy structuring it. It's not easy doing it in such a fast amount of time. It really is an intense process. So every single person standing on this stage has done the most incredible job. I think you should all give yourself a round of applause, really. Lovely. So without further ado, let's welcome our next guest, who is the fantastic Helen Goad.
Don't lose the best people in the chaos and in the crisis. You lose your best people. Can anybody hear me? No? Do you want me to start coming here now?
Right, do you want to do a sound check?
Anybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Tech team.
No, we haven't got nothing. Do you want me to grab the other one?
We've got an amazing tech
Okay,
team.
just-
Is it on?
Do you want me to check it? Wouldn't have to do the phone.
Yeah,
So,
it's all on.
Do you want to do a quick swap?
Want us to swap, tech team?
1 second, computer. Hello, hello, hello.
That sounds
Does that
better.
sound better? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
John, clip in and head off over there.
And go again.
you
Round
got the
2.
stage.
Round 2.
Try again.
once more.
All right, so I have to say, we are on the largest stage in the Southeast at the South Theatre. Really feel so grateful to be here. But without further ado, because it's not me you've come here to listen to, let's give a warm welcome to our next speaker, Helen Goad.
Yeah.
Thank you. You don't lose the best people in the crisis or in the chaos. You lose your best people in the silence. Sorry, I'm having problems.
Well, tell a joke. What's your favourite joke?
Tell a joke.
Yeah.
Why did the banana go to the doctors? Because he wasn't eating well. Is that any good?
The joke was great.
Yeah, the joke's alright.
Where is it come down to?
Do you want me to show you one more? Right, like we did this morning. Yes, exactly. You feel quite right. Yes, push it. Happy?
Mark,
Yeah.
shall I introduce her again, or do you just want to keep going?
You might as well, with this far through, we'll take a nice little start again.
Ready? So, on the largest stage in the southeast, will you welcome our next speaker, Helen Goad?
You don't lose your best people in the crisis or in the chaos. You lose your best people in the silence. How did that feel? How did that silence feel for you? Some people enjoy the calm. They enjoy the moment to just breathe and just to be there. Whilst others, they are the ones that kind of have that feeling, that uncomfortable feeling that made them feel it physically within their body somewhere of, I need to feel that. That doesn't feel comfortable. Or maybe you sat there next to somebody and had a real urge to go, what's going on? What's happening? We're supposed to be here, they're supposed to be speaking. Every one of those is absolutely normal, absolutely human, absolutely natural. And also, the timing, the place, the people, they will all affect that feeling that we have inside of us when it comes to silence. And the problem within organisations is that that silence can be interpreted too quickly and too positively as something that is okay. Everything's fine. Everything's okay. Nobody's speaking up, so everything must be fine. But often, it's a sign. It's a sign where people are really feeling that urge to leave. Don't want to be in that situation any longer. But those people that are feeling that, they are the people that are the professional people. There's no drama. There's no shouting. There's no screaming. It's all quiet. And that's why you can get missed. Professionalism. Professionalism can mask burnout for months. So by the time it shows up in your data, your performance data, it's too late. So why am I here today? Why do I deserve to be on this stage speaking about this? Thank you. I've worked with thousands and thousands of people. I've got thousands of client hours. And I've worked with people, professionals in lots of different areas, financial, solicitors, public as well as private sectors. Because silence is often a sign of burnout. And I've worked with burnout in many situations. I've scraped people off the pavement when they've hit their absolute rock bottom. But who wants to go back to work in that environment that's led to that? They're emotionally spent and they're physically probably walking out that door. And if they aren't walking out that door yet, then you'll be getting that email very soon. It'll ping into your inbox and you'll go, where did that come from? Wasn't expecting that. I've worked with people throughout the UK. I've worked with people in Asia. I've worked with people in Europe. And even though it's all a little bit different, it's all often the same thing. They've retreated within themselves. Their energy is spent. They haven't got it anymore. They haven't got the give anymore. So let's just rewind a moment. Let's just go back a little bit. Because what happens before the silence? What leads to the silence? Because they just don't wake up one morning and suddenly they're not engaging and they're not part of it and they're not speaking up. As I'm talking about this next bit, all I want you to do is just listen to the words and notice. Notice what you feel inside of you. Notice the thoughts that may come to your mind. Notice any situations or scenarios that might crop up for you. This is the person that takes on board everything. They go that extra mile. They do that extra task just before leaving work because it makes things a bit easier the next day. They are the people that often have great ideas. They've got the hints, they've got the tips, and they're giving with every ounce of energy that they've got. Because all they want to do is help. They want to make things better, make things easier. They're the one that is carrying the load. And it gets heavier, and it gets heavier, until it gets a bit too heavy. And they're retreating within themselves. And the reason I know about silence is because it was me. I did all that. The hints, the tips, the try this, the do that, the do the other, all of that. I did it all. I did the extra bits. I carried everything. And I was spent. And then there was something that just tipped me over the edge. And that was it. I was out of there. I was gone. I didn't even send the email. Didn't even make a phone call. I just went. I had to protect myself and my energy. Because if I didn't, nobody else was going to do that for me. So as I was talking through that, it might be that, as I said before, certain people may have come to mind, scenarios or situations. And looking back now, it might be that you can see where you missed something. Where that person is retreating. Or there might be someone in your world right now that you kind of, oh, that sounds a bit like them. The person that may be the one that did all the organising of the events outside of work. Let's go for an Indian. Let's grab a Chinese. Let's go bowling. Let's go and have a drink. Those sorts of things that aren't happening because the person that organised it has retreated. So what's going on inside the brain? What's going on in our brains that makes us retreat? And I'm talking about our old emotional brain, as I call it. You may know it as the reptilian brain. You may have come across the words chimp brain, or the chimp paradox, which is a book. That's the part of the brain that I'm talking about, the emotional brain. And its role is to keep you alive. And it'll do that in whatever way, shape or form it feels is necessary in that moment. It's an amazing, powerful part of our brain. But when it feels threatened, and that doesn't matter if it's a physical threat or a perceived threat, it's going to respond in exactly the same way. Retreat. As I said, it's a primitive part of our brain. So if you can imagine the cavemen, they would have retreated to the cave for safety. And in a sense, it's a little bit like that. The person's retreating within themselves. because that's where safety is, that's where safety feels right for them. Now, the problem is with this, that it might not necessarily be the best place to be, but the brain just wants to be safe. Doesn't matter if it doesn't always, on a logical level, feel safe or be safe. That's the battle that can happen inside of us. We can have the logical going, do this, do that, do the other. The emotions going, no, scary, 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 go and hide. So, how do I help people? How do I help organisations? How do I help leaders as much as anything? Because just for a moment here, just imagine a leader. Everything's gone a bit peaked on. Something might happen that morning, or it might be building up to it, and things really aren't going well. And that leader now is in panic mode. In, oh God, what am I going to do? How am I going to do? And then there's the team meeting coming up. And they go into that meeting, and they are basically bricking it. In that moment, their emotional brain wants them to run for the hills and get out there. But they're overriding it and they're going into that meeting. Everybody in the room is going to feel that. They're going to see it in the body language, in the tone. They can hear it. Everything about them is, get me out of here, I don't want to be in this situation. Now imagine what everybody else's old emotional brain is picking up on in that moment. They're all picking up on, oh heck, something's really wrong here. And what are their emotional brains going to do? Respond in a very similar way. Wow, this isn't safe. We don't want to be here, we don't need to be here, and they're going to retreat. Create a cycle that isn't helpful. Well, let's say, for example, same situation, but the leader walks in and he's got this, or she's got this. And you can tell the confidence is there, the calmness is there. Everything is falling to pieces around them, but they are this, in a sense, ray of sunshine, of energy. Can you imagine what all of the other people's brains are picking up on? Hey, we're all right here. They've got it. We're going to be fine. We're going to be okay. We can follow this person. So that's, in a sense, in a way, how I help leaders and organisations be the best they can be. By getting that emotional brain working the way that they want it to, responding and reacting the way they want to, rather than the way that the emotional brain feels it needs to. And one of the things that I talk about when I first start working with anybody in any situation is the emotional brain. There's 3 interesting things about it. I'm not going to go into detail today, but just touch on them a moment. Our emotional brain, our old brain, has no level of logic. Day-to-day thinking brain, or new brain, conscious brain, whatever you want to call it, all the logic under the sun. Old brain, nothing. It doesn't understand the concept of time either. And the third one is that the emotional brain of ours is working about half a second earlier than we're consciously aware of. So I'm going to just look at that just for a moment. Because most people go, well, what does that mean? What's that all about? Why is that important? So if I just give a very quick example. It's not the best example, but it highlights it really well. If you were to step out in front of the car, your brain doesn't go, oh, red car coming, better move. You step back instantly. And then you have that, that was close moment. That is highlighting that our emotional brain that looks out for the threat sees the threat, responds and reacts. That, oh, shucks, that was close. That's the logical day-to-day thinking brain catching up with what's happened and what's gone on in that moment. So, imagine your old emotional brains responding and reacting how you want them to, rather than how they've learned to. You're going to have that comfortable feeling inside of you right from the get-go. That is It's extremely, extremely powerful. There's something. Is this going to work? I would like you to go away with. Oh, yes, there we go. And this is a question. This is a very simple question. Because when things feel heavy, when things are feeling flat, and the energy isn't there, a simple question can be very, very powerful and very helpful. What is feeling harder than it needs to? Just sit with that for a moment. What's feeling harder than it needs to? Is there anything that comes to mind? Please, I'm not asking you to shout out. Just be aware of that. And it might not be a thing, it could be a feeling or a thought. What's feeling harder than it needs to? But imagine saying that to your team or to an individual, depending on the situation. And what you're doing, you're giving them a moment to pause, to go within, to think, to feel. You're also giving them a space to let you know what's going on for them. A space where they can feel heard. That is very powerful, the hearing bit. Listening is great, but when you really hear someone, you really take on board what they're saying, and it's not just words, it's everything that goes with that. It's the tone, it's the body language, everything in that moment. Now it might be that person comes to you with something that